we welcome to any of the people from the public, the free, open to the public. Can you raise your hands if you are here? Thank you for coming. We're going to probably do this every time we have a conference so that you can get to know what's all in your area. I'm introducing Jessica. You've seen her around here, up here, getting poked and feeling happier. Yeah. Jessica holds an undergraduate degree in international relations, political science, and French. Also has a master's in organizational development and human resources with a capstone in conflict management and mediation. She presently serves as a virtual risk consultant for Fortune 100 and Fortune 10 companies and teaches conscious business courses online. She became an Ayurvedic practitioner after Ayurveda saved her life, and you'll hear more about that shortly. She has opened a clinic in Clearwater called Wildcraft Ayurveda and has dedicated her future to continuing to share this science. So she's going to be the moderator of the next session.
Of myself.
Of herself. Oh, is that what it is? You're moderating yourself?
Myself. Someone has to. Oh my gosh, Kitty, thank you. Okay, so obviously my training and my background had absolutely nothing to do with Ayurveda. This was not what I planned on doing with my life. But I was gently guided into a different modality. So I was going to share my story a little bit just because I really do believe in the power of Ayurveda and I'm living proof. I joke that I came out broken. I came out allergic to every formula known to man and basically just drank goat milk. And I came out constipated. We'll talk about how constipated I was. But by the time I was 17, I did not have a lot of hair. I used to get stopped in the grocery store and the little ladies would tell me I was way too young to be going through chemo, and I would politely let them know that I was just bald. So by then I was diagnosed, they were talking about RA. I had such bad, horrible periods that I would basically lose consciousness. And I've had 4 kids, so I can tell you that my menses was the same as postpartum. There really wasn't a difference during that month. So finally, one of the doctors said, "Do you go to the bathroom regularly?" And I said, "Yeah, I sure do." And he said, "Define regularly." And I said, "Once every 2 weeks, like everybody else." And he about fell off his chair. And I was like, "That's not normal." So you'll find a lot of people like me, and I didn't know. And so I trusted the doctors at the time, and they tried to find ways to get me to go to the bathroom. I worked with nutritionists, I worked with doctors all over the world, France, Germany, United States. And they started out with FiberCon. And I ended up, thankfully at the time, we had push-button phones because I had a fever of 106.7, and I went blind, and I couldn't hear. And I pushed buttons to call my brother-in-law. And I was able to tell him, I have a ring in my ears, and I can't see. And so he drove me to the hospital. They did a bunch of tests. I got a spinal tap. I got dumped in ice. And they kept me there for about a week and basically just said, "Don't take FiberCon again." So we tried Metamucil and I ended up with 103. Same reaction. And so eventually, my daily laxative is what y'all use for colonoscopy. And I frankly thought it was a joke because it didn't do a thing. So all the nutritionists, everybody gave up on me. I remember I went to one doctor in Washington, D.C., and I was like, "Hey, I really need to go to the bathroom. Like, this is really important." And he said, "Have you eaten orange peels on a regular basis? Like, I only want you to eat an orange peel every single day, all day." And I was just like, "No, I haven't tried that." And so, like, we would try everything. I ate a whole pound of prunes once and didn't poop for a month. So, like, nothing worked. So by then, I guess about 17, I had severe endometriosis. So when they did my laparoscopy, I said, "Hey, can you look around? Because I am in so much pain." And the doctor did confirm that I had adhesions all over my intestines, and so he did ablate a lot of that for me. And that helped me start going about once a week. But I still didn't have like any answers. So I kept getting recurrent endometriosis, all those things. And God bless my husband because I was nearly bald. He still decided to marry me, which is amazing. But I ended up, by grace, getting pregnant, and then my pregnancies were pretty significant. I could not regulate my blood pressure very well, so I would lose consciousness every day for about an hour and a half. And then twice they revived me. I wasn't allowed to drive anymore because I would just kind of drive into cars because I didn't really know what was going on because my blood pressure was just so low. I joke that I was dumber than a box of rocks because I really could not retain much thought. I used to write the number of kids I had on my hand every day if I was going to go to the grocery store because I knew by 10 o'clock, like the morning was my only window when I could remember things. So if I wrote down how many kids I had, I wouldn't forget to go to the store. Sorry. So there's a level of pain that comes with that. So my skin hurt, my hair hurt, and this is the one that makes me cry because I used to be horrified if my kids would hug me. Sorry, because it would hurt so bad. And you want to hug your kids, right? But that was the hardest point for me. It ended up that my bones were basically dust. I mean, you guys heard I went down a kiddie slide and crushed T12, right? So by then, I started getting hives. So I had hives everywhere. I had boils on my head. And I started getting allergies, right? So whenever I ate, I would have an anaphylactic reaction. And so I would have trouble eating. So for about 10 years, I threw up after every meal. Not by choice, but that's what would happen. Because I was just basically really close to death, right? Nothing was working. I was at the point where I was only going to the bathroom about once a month, and then I really wasn't urinating so much in my own either. So when I broke my back, obviously I'm raised up work comp. I'm more business person, and I'm used to incidental findings. So I had a whole team of ISTs. I kept going to all these doctors. I called them my ISTs. I would wear a heart monitor pretty frequently. And at that point, I did not have ankles. I just had black swollen circles. And I would lose my toenails by the end of the day because my feet would swell up so much. So yada, 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 all the doctors were like, we just don't know what to do with you, but you're dying. And so when I broke my back, I thought to myself, I'm too young, we just don't go down kiddie slide and crush T12. Like, that's got to be a significant impact. And to be able to break your tailbone, all the things that came with it, I pushed for scans. And they were like, well, you don't really need them. And I was like, I think I have tingling in my legs. Yeah, definitely. So I got my scans, and I did light up a little bit like a Christmas tree, as they put it. And at the moment, they thought it was cancer. But I had tumors on my adrenals, which were gratefully not signaling. But it was my lymph, which I knew because I felt like I had a baseball size lump in my armpit, and it felt like there was an elephant on my chest all the time. At this point, it was 2 years that if I just walked to the mailbox, I would cough up blood. So I was a hot mess. So I went in, and for some reason I joke because I used to watch House, and they always say it's sarcoidosis. And so I went to the doctor, and they were like, you gotta get into Moffitt, like you have a very small window. And so I called Moffitt, and they basically told me that by the time they could get me in, I'd be dead. And so they weren't going to bother scheduling me because it was too late, because everything looked like cancer. So by grace, I had some really good doctors. They saw me in the evenings. I literally had scans at night. I had one doctor who was an oncologist see me before his office hours in the morning. And I give kudos to my husband again because he wore a t-shirt to every single doctor's appointment that said, I love my wife, because he thought it could get me better treatment. But I was very blessed. They ran all these tests, they ran everything, and I joked to the doctor there was sarcoidosis, and it did come back with sarcoidosis, which was pretty funny. So I ended up being diagnosed with sarcoidosis, and the absolute gift was that my pulmonologist looked at me, and he was so devastated that I was his patient. And he said, I don't want to give you the medication because it's going to kill you faster than all of your diseases. And I just don't want to see you die. And so I remember hugging him and telling him that's pretty cool because I don't want to die either. So at least we're on the same page and I'm going to be okay. And they kept telling me, you need to get your affairs in order, you need to join a support group with other people who are dying, and you need to, all of that. But at the same time, my kids were just as sick as I was. So I had, by the time my daughter was 2, I mean, both my kids were vomiting when they ate. And by the time my one daughter was 2, her baby teeth came in black and rotten, and she had blood infections and nobody knew why. And my other child was getting oxygen one day in the hospital just 'cause so much congestion. And my other kids had some issues too. So I knew, like, I couldn't die because who's going to help them, right? So I did not know what to do, so I left the pulmonologist when he told me I had 2 weeks, max 2 years to live. And pray it's 2 years. So I said, okay. So I drove to Vitamin Shop because I didn't know what else to do. And I sat outside a Vitamin Shop and I said, okay, God, clearly I am the most stubborn individual on the planet, and you are choosing 6 ways till Sunday to try to kill me. So I obviously have a lesson that I'm supposed to learn, but I'm so dumb, like I can't, I'm so sick, like I have no idea what this is. So I made a deal in the car, and I said, this is the deal. I said, I'm gonna walk into Vitamin Shop, and I'm gonna close my eyes, and I'm gonna walk up and down the aisles, and you're gonna tell me where to stop. And whenever I open my eyes, I'm gonna take what's in front of me. And the deal is that saves my life and my kids, and then I will do whatever it is that you tell me I'm supposed to do. So I closed my eyes, and I'll never forget the guy said, can I help you? I was like, no, I'm good. And I wandered through with my eyes closed. And I stopped in front of something called Triphala. And I called it Triphala, because I didn't know any better. And I was like, Triphala? Okay, fine, yeah, whatever, I'll take it. Cool, what else? What else am I supposed to stop in front of? And the next thing I stopped in front of was Calmeg, or Andrographis. So I said, okay, whatever, I'll take it. And then I stopped in front of Neem, and I stopped in front of olive leaf extract and oregano. And that's what was decided that I needed to take. So I went home, and I took it all, and the guy at the counter's like, do you have any questions? I was like, no, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but this is what I'm supposed to take. No questions. And so I went home, and I started taking it, and the next day I woke up, and I said, hey, this is pretty cool, I didn't cough up blood today. Like, that's interesting. So day 2, I was like, hey, this is day 2, and I didn't cough up blood today. And so then day 3, I was like, do I have to go to the bathroom? Like, I didn't even know what that feeling was. I never had felt peristaltic movement in your intestines before, so I had absolutely no idea what that was. But I was like, this is kind of cool. I think I might have to go to the bathroom by myself. Like, I never, y'all take for granted independent bowel movements. They are the most amazing magic on the planet. Like, wake up every day and be like, I am the coolest thing on the world because I go to the bathroom by myself. And there are so many people who cannot do that. And so, oh, I forgot an important part of this. So back then, I started working with a naturopathic doctor who was a chiropractor, and she did do some testing on me before I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. And they sent my hair and saliva and my blood work and everything, samples out, and it came back that there was mercury poisoning, but like here's the chart, we're at the top level, and my levels were so high I wasn't even on the chart. And so they also came back with a whole bunch of heavy metals. They came back that I had 3 out of 5 markers for Lyme. It came back that, I mean, you pick a comorbidity or some sort of bacterial infection. I mean, obviously if you don't poop every month, you just get it all. So you name it, I had it. I joked that I got the measles twice, but I was still vaccinated. Like, I was a kid who got scarlet fever. They gave me Bentyl, and I'm a picture in a book somewhere because I was just a giant hive. So when I tried to chelate, like just milk thistle would make me convulse. And when they tried to give me some IVs, my kidneys shut down. So I got told I couldn't chelate anymore. So I had to find another way to get all of this out. And so, yada, yada, yada. I take all those herbs, and I start going, what is Triphala? Like, what is this stuff? And Ayurveda kept coming up, and I was like, what is Ayurveda? Like, this is so weird, I've never heard of this before. And so I started taking all these herbs, and I knew I couldn't get them into me, and so intuitively I thought, I wonder if I just paint them on my body, like, would that work? And Alipana, like, I didn't know what that was, but here I am painting myself 4 o'clock in the morning, head to toe with all these weird things. Soaking in tubs because I knew I just had to find a way to get something in me that was not trying to kill me. And so eventually I kept going back to the doctor, and he's like, you're the only person who comes in here every week and whose lung function just keeps improving. And he was like, this is amazing. I don't know what you're taking, but keep taking it. And so I went to the gastroenterologist, and he was like, oh my God, this stuff is gold. He's like, I wish all of my clients, my patients would take this, keep taking it. And so and it was funny because my one doctor was like, you're gonna die, what are you doing? This is crazy. And now he's like my biggest supporter. So little by little, I mean, I grew most of my hair back. I go to the bathroom by myself. I do all those cool things that you guys take for granted. And barely have allergic reactions to food anymore. I haven't coughed up blood in probably a decade. So I'm a good 10 years past my death date. And so that was the promise I made, and so I went and became an Ayurvedic practitioner, and I study as much as I can, all that I can. I never planned on opening a clinic, but people just kept getting better. And so I was like, wow, I'm pretty selfish if I don't start sharing this. So I opened a clinic, and I'm blessed that some of the people I get to work with are here today. And so we just keep going. So just next time, my only advice is when you make this little contract, find out if you have to learn Sanskrit, because that was not anything that I had foreshadowed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I gotta learn Ayurveda and Sanskrit, but it's okay. So I'm just grateful to still be here, and my kiddos are doing great. And I do have to give a shout out to my mom, because my mom is here. She's celebrating her 93 years. And my mom used Ayurveda along with Western disease. Yeah, so she's a survivor too. And I've got some amazing people that work with me at the clinic with different modalities. And so our goal is that anybody who shows up at our door is held entirely. We just basically stand and wait and accept anybody that comes, so that one of us can be the right fit to help that person down their path to wellness. So that's me. Anyway, if anybody has a question, so like you can't ask. I'm honestly a pretty open book. So, yes.
When did you start to take a downturn with your hair?
Oh, my hair? I had almost no hair this time. When did I start losing my hair? Gosh, I got my first gray hair at like age 8. And then I started losing my hair in chunks. Like, it would just come out in chunks. Probably when I was about 15. Yeah, 14, 15. So, yeah.
And no one had a clue.
No one had a clue. No, they tried. I think
Did you have dental?
I do have dental mercury fillings, and they told me not to take them out because they didn't think I'd live through it at the time. And it was safer for me to just continue to detox. I also lived in Eastern Europe, a little bit like Europe, and one doctor speculated that maybe I had some exposure there, but the gastroenterologist, most of my ists felt like it came from here. And I had those put in when I was 13 or 14. Yeah, because my teeth were shot. I mean, since I found Ayurveda, I had a cavity, but when I was little, I would go in, even if I brushed, I'd have 9. I mean, my bones were just not there. Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't think about that.
Sounds like there was a lot of metal exposure, perhaps vaccine exposure.
Possibly.
Other foods and so forth, other chemicals. So it looks like you were kind of intoxicated.
Yeah.
And early on with something, and then it just kept.
I just never got. I think I just held on to all of it and never let it go until they got me. My pathways were just closed, right? So my values. We heard him talk about how important that is.
Glad to see you survive.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
So I wanted to ask, you never took any medication apart from allopathic medication until?
That's a great question. Okay, so did I take any allopathic medication? I didn't. I had such severe reactions to Fibercon and Metamucil and Benzyl. And that's for people that have like spastic colon and stuff. It's a muscle relaxer to try to get you to go to the bathroom. So nobody had ever recommended really anything else. I did take Cineral and other types of medications for endometriosis, and they put me into menopause when I was about 25 for a year, and actually that was fantastic. I enjoyed that time, but then it all came back, and I couldn't take that forever because it also leaches your bones. Trying to think of anything, and then after that, they would offer me topical stuff like, oh, we can give you something for the hives on your skin, and I'd be like, well, what's that going to do? That doesn't heal me. And so other things that I was offered, I rejected because none of it had any, like, no, they didn't even know. They were like, we don't know, this might just make you look better. Like maybe, oh, and I tried Rogaine, and it made my scalp bleed. Yeah, I just was allergic to everything.
So all the blood tests that showed that you had heavy metal toxoplasmosis. So what do you remember apart from the maybe exposure in Eastern Europe or something?
Yeah.
Or mercury fillings, do you remember anything from food?
Yeah.
And do you have from your memory, any data about what food you took earlier since childhood and what changes you made? And did you make any changes?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. Well, I was raised on a Western diet, so we didn't, I love my mom, but pepper at the time was spicy, right, Mom? We didn't really have spices, and now she loves them.
I never used anything but salt. I didn't even use pepper.
Yeah, so there you go. No, it's okay. And when I was not able to hold down food anymore, I just felt like there was so much heat in my body. Like I felt like I was on fire. I was just so swollen. If I walked, my hands would swell up, everything would swell up. And I actually went raw vegan for a month, and it wasn't that it was like, I want to be raw vegan. It was that if I ate blueberries, I didn't throw up. So for like a month, I ate blueberries. Then a month, I ate watermelon, and I could eat it. And then so I stuck with some raw foods. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then what helped my lungs was I just started thinking, how do I get this heat out? I got to get this heat out. And I had read ginger and turmeric, and so I would eat like a chunk this big of ginger and turmeric every day. And as long as I ate that with blueberries blended up, I was like, okay, I can not cough up too much today. This is pretty cool. But I didn't find those things until I found Triphala and started looking up Ayurveda, and I kept finding something called Agni. And I was like, I don't have that. That's so silly.
But I wanted to ask it, I don't know how to put it. I'm trying to find, there has to be a reason. Maybe you haven't identified, but I'm just trying to see what can be the reason for building up. And then it got built up, everything got built up.
Yeah.
But not until that much, you reach that much age, did you actually face death.
I had one doctor tell me,
All these-
the one, I think so, I think he was hanging out with me, you could feel it. One doctor, when I told him that I was vomiting every time after I ate, and he held my hand, and he's actually a doctor of naturopathic medicine, and I didn't know at the time that he knew Ayurveda. And he held my hand and he said, do you have any idea how close to death you truly are? And I was like, yeah, I've got a pretty good grasp on it. So, but at the time I had an enlarged spleen too. I had so many other things I probably don't remember because I just choose not to. But yeah, I was a hot mess.
So your first Ayurvedic medication you obviously chose yourself in the pharmacy by walking blind. Did you consult any Ayurvedic doctor later on, or you just continued taking those medications?
I started becoming obsessed with Ayurveda, and so I just started anything I could find, any book, anything online, anything that I could find, and I started actually, I went organ by organ, so I was like, okay, coughing up blood and not being able to breathe, like sarcoidosis was killing me the fastest, right, and it was in my lungs and in my lymph. So I researched like crazy, what herbs clear out your lymph, and I would go with Ayurveda. And then I found Manji stuff. I used the internet and any book I could find. And then I was like, okay, this is cool, what's Pippali? Like, that's awesome. And I probably, if I'd worked with a practitioner, I could have done it better, but I didn't even know that that existed, to be honest. And I just kept using my body as an experiment, organ by organ, and using diagnostic tests with Western to see if it worked. And I would just get better and better and better, and then I started growing hair, and it was really cool. And I just literally used my body as an experiment, organ system at a time. And then when the pandemic hit, I knew I wanted to study it, and I was like, I can't move, I've got 4 kids. And when the pandemic hit, my husband said, I bet you these schools went online, and you could learn more. And I knew the cost to go to Panchakarma for me for a month was about the same as I could invest in education. And I said, how can I just treat myself and not learn it? And so instead I chose to learn it, and so I can help my kids and everybody else.
That's a great and amazing story. I'm just worried. Your story might put all the Ayurvedic doctors out of practice. Everybody.
Absolutely not. No.
She's kind of a one person, I don't think everybody could do that.
One more question, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm bombarding you with this, but because I'm just thinking, what was the first symptom apart from losing your hair?
I think
Was
the
it
first
the
system.
or constipation or throwing up?
Oh, I came out constipated. My mom will tell you I only went to the bathroom probably every 2 weeks from birth. Like, that's how I came out. Yep. So maybe karma, I don't know. Anything else?
So you never had any panchakarma or anything?
I am blessed that I have some individuals that I work with now who, whenever I come into the clinic, freak out and throw me on a table. Because I'm too busy trying to help other people, and I don't want to stop because it's amazing.
But when you're treating this, your problem at that time, it was
No,
without.
I didn't even know what panchakarma was. Forget. I mean,
So just the herbs that you picked up.
it was just the herbs, and I think the lekana, right? I didn't know what lekana was, but lekana, and I just would paint stuff over my liver. I would paint stuff. Like I found bentonite clay, and then I was like, oh, if I could take this neem, I feel so good. What happens if I could paint it here? Or if I would notice, I would do, I didn't know about Avianca, but I was obsessed with apricot oil, and I would slather in it from head to toe, and I would do dry brushing, and I started getting into yoga I was like, how else can I move this, right? And when I went to yoga, somebody said you should try dragon's breath one day, and I was like, wow, it feels like getting heat out of my body, I love it, and I would just start doing that. And I would like to tell you I had the intellectual capacity at the time to kind of correlate those things, but I mean, I still had to use GPS to get them off home from my house. I went to the grocery store with a key fob. I drove a minivan for 20 years, but I couldn't tell you what car I drove. Couldn't remember. So, I mean, a lot of patients that come in, they'll see you, just keep them like they might be as dumb as I am. Yeah.
So when did you change your food program?
Gosh, let's see. I'd have to look up specifically the year. I mean, I always thought I was eating clean, but when I look back, I was eating a very vata-provoking diet, right? More salads. I thought, oh, I should eat a salad. Like, I should eat a cold salad. Worst thing I could have done for myself. And so I never thought about warm. I thought about, like, whole foods, like, okay, kale. I'll make kale chips as a snack, right? Anything that was rough, dry, cold, hard, that's what I eat. I didn't know. And so once I got things moving with the herbs and started researching Ayurveda, I was like, and then the ginger and the turmeric, then I was like, okay, there's something in this, how I cook and what I put in it. Like, what's a spice? This is cool. Yeah. Let me learn. So, anybody else? I was very naive. So, that's okay. Yeah. Any other questions? That's probably good. Okay, I'm next to introduce someone who's equally amazing.